Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. His long and storied career full of success is practically unmatched. He's accomplished some insane feats both on and off the court, and today, we'll be looking at the top 10 Michael Jordan moments. Number 1. Jordan's final shot. Jordan's final shot isn't just one of his greatest moments, it's also one of the best moments in the history of the sport. Jordan's insane play versus the Jazz in 1998 is right there alongside other iconic plays, like Larry Bird's steal versus the Lakers and Magic Johnson's hook shot. In this unforgettable play, Jordan, playing for the Bulls, stripped the ball from Malone, then went one-on-one with Brian Russell. Jordan dribbled, executed a swift crossover that forced Russell to slip and fall before the airman himself jumped for a game-winning score to finish off his 45-point game with just 5.2 seconds left on the clock. Sports broadcaster Bob Costas summed up the moment that will live on in sports history with his quote, "If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it?" Number 2. Jordan's Game 2 performance. In a series of plays across Game 2 in the 1991 Finals, Jordan paved the way for the Bulls to their first championship. Leading up to Game 2, the Bulls swept the two-time defending champion Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals and squared up against Magic Johnson and the Lakers. At the time, the Lakers seemed unstoppable. They were playing their 9th finals match in 12 seasons, a 75% appearance rate, which is absurd. The Lakers seemed poised to secure the series victory after the Bulls dropped Game 1. Game 2 started off slow, but eventually Pippen's defense set the stage for Jordan, who managed to rack up a crazy 33 points, 7 assists, and 13 rebounds. Jordan's standout performance inspired his teammates and helped propel them to their 107-86 victory in the finals. Number 3. 63 points in Boston Garden. In just his second year in the NBA, Jordan faced off against one of the greatest teams in NBA history, the eventual NBA champion Celtics, with a stacked roster of Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Bill Walton, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, and Danny Ainge. However, the star-studded lineup didn't faze Jordan. In the first round of the 1986 playoffs, Jordan clutched a postseason record scoring 63 points in Game 2. Although Jordan couldn't carry his team to a series win, his performance earned him respect from fans and players the world over. Bird, who had just been titled the MVP for his 3rd year in a row, told the Boston Globe how he felt about Jordan when he said, "I would never have called him the greatest player I've ever seen if I didn't mean it. It's just God, disguised as Michael Jordan." Number 4. The shot. It's hard to believe that so many of the NBA's greatest moments came just from Michael Jordan himself. But we have another highlight play with MJ's shot over Craig Ello. In this high-stakes playoff match, Jordan is in possession of the ball and the clock is down to the wire. If he misses, the Bulls are out of the playoffs and the Cavaliers advance to face the Knicks. During the play, Jordan's momentum is making him go left, but he jumps straight up with his body in line with the hoop and shoots on his way back down to the court. The whole time, Craig Ello keeps a strong defense with his hand plastered in front of Jordan's face. Fans rejoice and players celebrate as Jordan lands the unlikely shot and secures the win for the Bulls, proving his ability to perform in high-stakes games. Number 5. Dunk contest victories. In 1987 and 1988, Jordan put on a clinic to win back-to-back slam dunk contest championships. Both of his dunks from the free throw line were insane, and he put up other iconic shots like his rock the cradle dunk. Jordan's performance during these 2 dunk contests inspired a whole generation of basketball pros, including LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. His 2 back-to-back wins are some of the best in the history of the contest, adding more great moments to Jordan's storied career. Number 6. The Shrug. Heading into the 1992 Finals, Jordan captured back-to-back MVP titles, and he had to put those titles to the test against the Portland Trail Blazers. Going into the game, many fans and sports analysts were comparing Jordan to the All-Star guard Clyde Drexler, but Jordan swiftly put those comparisons to rest. In just the first half of Game 1 alone, Jordan outscored Drexler an embarrassing 35-8. On top of that, Jordan nabbed a finals record with 6 three-pointers in just the first half. The results were so one-sided, and so seemingly effortless, Jordan couldn't help but shrug to cap off the highlight game. Number 7. 1992 Dream Team Scrimmage. Countless players and commentators have praised Jordan over the years. Every NBA fan has their favorite Jordan play. Turns out even Magic Johnson has a favorite Jordan moment. And for him, it was Jordan's play during the 1992 Dream Team Scrimmage. Johnson recalls that they were up against Jordan 12-2. Magic recalled in a 2016 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, he said, "I'm really going to rattle his chain." So I went over, tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey man, if you don't turn into Air Jordan, we're going to blow you out today." Jordan went down the right side of the court along with David Robinson, who was on Jordan's team. Jordan did a 360 into a dunk. So much effort and such a crazy play in only a practice game. It was moments like this that showed Jordan was in a league all his own. Number 8. 1989-90 Playoffs. Jordan's performance throughout the playoffs was more like a series of incredible moments rather than just one standout play. Their opponents, the Detroit Pistons, had their own unique Jordan rules to try and halt the upcoming superstar. Jordan averaged 36.7 points, 6.8 assists, and 7.2 rebounds per game. Even though Jordan played out of his mind during the series, the Bulls fell after a 7-game series. Number 9. Space Jam. Jordan's career even had highlights off the court. Jordan's first feature film was a crazy moment in sports history. The star-studded cast featured Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Murray, other NBA stars like Larry Johnson and Patrick Ewing, and the movie had tons of famous cartoon characters too, which created tons of new fans for the sport. On top of the hype it generated in younger fans, it also opened the NBA up to new levels of advertising to further build the sport. On top of all the hype it generated for the NBA, Space Jam came at a pivotal moment in internet history. It was one of the first movies to be marketed heavily on the internet, which helped shape the way we use the internet to this very day. Even if it didn't showcase Jordan's crazy basketball skills like other entries, it's safe to say that this movie had a huge impact well beyond the scope of basketball. To this day, the original Space Jam site still exists as an archive to the early days of the internet. And such a crazy meme and important piece of history wouldn't have been possible without Jordan's star performance on the court. Number 10. The Flu Game. After a few years of dominance in the NBA, the Bulls finally started to slow down, heading into Game 5 of the 1997 Finals. Jordan had to face off against both Karl Malone and John Stockton, as the Bulls took on the Jazz again. On top of the immediate challenge posed by these threats, the Bulls also faced pushback from rowdy fans. But these are all footnotes. The real kicker? Jordan had been showing signs of the flu in the hours before the game. Jordan's understandably weak performance early on let the Jazz stretch out an early double-digit lead. Even though Jordan was far from perfect that game, he still ended up clocking a crazy 38 points during the game. On top of it all, he even secured the final score to win the game with a razor-thin victory of 90-88. Jordan was so dominant during his career that even sickness couldn't stop him from killing it on the court. Jordan's highlights will live on throughout history as some of the finest in NBA history. Which of these highlight moments impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by clicking that like button and subscribe for more awesome sports videos.